Hello, my YouTube bros. Johnny Mo coming to you with a little bit of question and answer. I'm going to talk to you about running a business, running a legit business. So let's just start, man. Let's have some fun with this. You know, I had a question, I've had this question more than once, but I had a question from another YouTuber about, you know, what's it cost to run an employee, you know, didn't quite know where to start, what to do. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about, you know, the cost of running employees. And, you know, the very first thing I want to do is I'm going to set a standard, and I want to start off right. I can answer that question very easily, answer it in like 2.2 seconds. But I want to talk to YouTubers out there, and I want to stop you right now. We're in July. You remember when I told you in a previous video that you should have your winter fund funded by Labor Day. We're about a month and a half away from Labor Day. Do you have your winter fund? And when I say winter fund, when the work stops like it does in the Midwest and the Northeast and it slows down south, do you have money to get you to the following June? Remember, you can go back to my previous videos. I talked to you why you have to get through all the way till June. So how are you doing with that? That's the question I'm asking you. Do you got your winter fund? If not, you need to stop right now and figure out why you don't have it, or why it's not being put in there, because you're running out of months now. Generally, not in the Northeast or Midwest, but generally it starts to dry out now. The work's not as, you know, not as great right now because, you know, the lawns are, the temperatures are usually in the 90s and it's hot and the lawns are burning out. Everything you're cutting weekly is now bi-weekly. Everything is bi-weekly is monthly. You know, and then you're going through all your trimming jobs and you're trying to find work, and then the work doesn't generally pick back up till September. So you should have a large portion of your winter fund in right now. May and June should fund a large portion of your winter fund. Having said that, I want to ask you, are you making money? I want to ask you, YouTubers, are you making money? Do you have money in the bank? Do you have a false high right now? Is there a false high going on around because you've got so much work, there's money coming in? But here's the biggest mistake, and let me help you guys. As an older guy, these are some things that I wish my dad would have taught me. I didn't have a really close relationship with my dad. My mom and dad divorced at a very young age, and I want to help some of you young guys out. You might not have a dad around. You might not have anyone you can talk to. So I want to give you advice about business. There's times in the last 10 years I wish I could have asked my dad some questions. Like some very hard questions like, hey Dad, what did you do when you felt like this? You know, as a man, not having other men to talk to, you become very lonely and very secluded. So make sure you have men that you can go talk to, and not just men your age. I'm talking about men that have been in the business for a while, who's going to answer you and be honest with you. So here's some things I wish I could have talked to my dad about, or had a mentor that, you know, could talk to me about. So let me explain the situation. Everything is just crazy. You're booming. You've got work. The grass is growing through the roof. You got people calling. They need mulch. You got bushes to trim. You're tearing down trees over there. You're running like a chicken with your head cut off. You're pulling the trailer in at 9 o'clock. You're barely getting to your bookwork at the end of the month to do the billing. Sound familiar? Because maybe I've been there. And all of a sudden things start happening and you have to make decisions on the fly. This is the problem what happens when you make decisions on the fly. You don't have the full picture in order to make a correct decision. Meaning the only thing that you know, I got to get a new mower. We got to get a new truck. I can't be dealing with this truck. I mean, if it goes down, I'm in trouble. It's already broke down once. And all of a sudden, let's go. We're making tons of money. You have to understand, are you making money? Do you have a grip on how much you're making? Well, we got to hire. We got to hire right now. We can't play around. We got to hire. Bring them on. Okay, let's bring him on. Here's CPA. He's CPA. I got this guy. We're gonna bring him. Hey, insurance guy. I need workman's comp for this guy. Here's his W1 and W9 and blah, 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 blah. And all of a sudden you're making all these phone calls. You're adding more insurance and you don't know it. And all of a sudden wintertime comes and you got all these extra bills and you're like, what the freak happened here? You made decisions on the fly without having the proper perspective on what your business was really doing. And so what I want you to do is I want you to stop right now. And I want you to ask yourself, and I want you to sit down, am I making money? Because if you don't have your winter fund, if you don't have the majority of your winter fund right now, odds are you're not going to have it. That means you're probably going to have to go to work in the winter, or you're going to have a rough winter. You're going to be putting stuff on credit, in March and April. And, today I made the bank run. I can honestly say right now I have my winter fund. My winter fund is totally funded all the way till next June. We're good. How's yours? It's not a braggadocious thing. It's something that you need to look at. Don't make decisions based off of, how busy you are right now. That's going to end. That busyness will fall off. So these are things I wish my dad could have taught me. My dad died probably about 10 years ago. We didn't really have a great relationship, but he was still my dad. But, take the advice that's given to you. Don't make decisions based off of what you're going through right now. Don't make this. When I decided not to hire another employee, I waited 2 weeks to make that decision. I didn't just sit there and just make a rash decision. I'm going to hire this person, I'm going to hire that person. We're going to do it. No, I looked at the bookwork. I looked at what we would save. And I understand, there's an ego thing, there's a pride thing, giving away work and downgrading yourself back to solo. I'm not saying I'm never going to grow and go back to there again. I just need a break from it. I need a break from that hectic lifestyle. Although it's hectic right now, it's just we're getting it more in line. We're actually just taking a step back and taking a look at like, hey, what's really important in life? And for those of you that live at home, understand if this is your career choice, that business has to be able to buy you a house, has to be able to take care of a wife. And if you're barely making it living at home, are you going to be able to make it out there? So you've got to know your numbers. So let's say that you hired an employee and you're going to pay him $10 an hour just for the sake of argument. I know you guys are going to pay $15 and $20 an hour because, you guys are really making that money. That's a joke, guys. Come on, laugh a little bit. These are fun videos. But anyway, so let's say he works 40 hours a week. It's $400. And so you can practically add about $119 extra for workman's comp, unemployment, FICA, and Medicare. That's about how much it's going to cost you to run. So at the end of the week, if he worked 40 hours, you can just basically say they cost you $519. To run all the extra taxes and everything is going to cost you about 28.9%, about 29%. So what you want to do, the very first thing you want to do is get an EIN number. You don't want to be running things off your Social Security number. So get an EIN in. Get your CPA or your accountant to file you to get you an EIN number, and then file it with the state that you're in, and then run everything through your EIN number. I'm telling you guys to do things legit. Don't do this stuff paying cash. I'm telling you, I just wrecked a mower about 2 weeks ago. I broke my thumb. I did some damage to the mower. I did some damage to a house, a big block job. And if I didn't have the insurance, or if I had had an employee who wrecked that machine like that, I'm telling you, you're in trouble. You don't have workman's comp, and that kid has to go, in an ambulance. I've had to go to the hospital. I don't know if you can still see the scar, but I ripped, 20-some stitches right here from putting a head shear. I was falling off a block wall, and the head shear just went down in my arm, and it went down sideways. This thing was in there. When I got up, that head shear was in there. If that's an employee, they're going to the hospital. You're in trouble. Do things right. You may think, oh, it'll never happen to me. Well, it does. You're going along, you pick up a rock, you throw it out, it goes through a windshield, the person in the windshield, crashes, hits a telephone pole, ambulance comes, and all of a sudden you don't have insurance. It's a big deal. It really is a big deal. So you want to get your number, file it with the federal, and then file it with the state. And then you want to go talk to it. I like to talk to brokers. It's all right to have your personal vehicles and your house insurance through someone's like your buddy. He's an insurance agent. That's cool. But if he's not a broker, I wouldn't run it through him, because his best interest is going to be like, say if he's one of the big names like Nationwide, Allstate, or Erie or something like that. That's going to be who they're going to run it through. But you want a broker who can run it through a bunch of different agencies to get you the best deal for workman's comp. The best deal is probably about 7.5%. I was paying about 8%, and you'll probably be right around 10%. So with your unemployment tax and then with your workman's comp, you're looking at about 21% right there. And it's like 6.2 for FICA, 1.45 for Medicare. So it equals up to about 29%. Having said all that, that's what you got to look forward to. So if you're not making money as a solo right now and you want to add an employee, I would just stop what I was doing right now if I were you in July. It's July 13th. I would stop what I was doing, and then I would take a look to make sure that I'm making money right now, because you're probably making a lot of decisions out there without having the full facts and the full understanding of what's going on in your business. And then all of a sudden, when everything dies down, you're wondering, hey, where'd all this money go? And then all of a sudden you go into winter with all these bigger bills, workman's comp, extra workman's comp, extra liability. I mean, it's never ending. I'm not downing it. I'm just telling you to make better decisions. Make sure you know. You guys know I'm big on knowing your numbers. If you haven't sat down and you're just running your business and you have no idea, you've never run a profit and loss, I'll guarantee you're not making money. You're just taking money from one hand and giving it out to the next. And you think you're making money because you've got all these checks coming in. But what's going to happen is the bills are just going to eat those little checks until there's nothing left. And then you start over the next year thinking the same thing. Well, I'll just do this amount of work and I'll pick up this and I'll hire more. And you continue to do the same thing. Get money, give money. You don't want to do that. You want to be able to get money and make sure that you're making money, so that way when you do grow your business, you're really making money. You're not just getting it to give it. So if, let's say $150,000 is running through your business, if it's running through your business, you're just transferring $150,000. You're wasting your time. And as you get older, guys, like me, I'm 41, been in it for 19 years. Working is not the biggest priority in my life. It's a priority because I need to pay bills, want to be a blessing to people. It's good in that sense, but it's, as your kids get older, you get this realization that they're not always going to be there. They're not always going to be there, and you're working the best years of their life. You're just working them away. Like today, my daughter got her first cavity, and it was such a big deal. She was so nervous. She wants her dad to be there. And some guys are just so busy they don't have time. Or, hey, I understand. Guys, these are pivotal moments in life. And as someone who wished their dad would have been able to tell them about the most pivotal moments in life, I'm telling you, there's pivotal moments in life, and you don't want to miss them. You don't want to miss them over a job. You don't want to miss them over because you're overbooked and you're running like a chicken with your head cut off. You don't want to make decisions without knowing the full picture. And some of you guys out there right now who are younger, I know you watch my channel, I get your emails, questions. If you're living at home and mom and dad are still paying the majority of the bills, can you support yourself? That's the question you need to ask. When you go out and you have to have your own house payment, say your house payment's $1,000. Well, that's $1,000 going to come out of this business. Do you have it? Are you making it? And those are questions that only you can answer. And if I were you, I would stop what I was doing. We're in July now. July's pivotal. Most of the country is going to probably start burning out. 90s and 100-degree weather. Grass don't like to grow in that. So the grass may slow down. Now here in the Northeast, it's rained for 30 days straight, it seems like. It's raining right now. It won't stop. And it's been hard. Now, I'm not making that 30% profit like I was because it's taking me a lot longer. But I know my numbers, and I know what each lawn is costing me. And you may say, oh, that's silly. You don't need to know all that. That's foolish for you to think that you don't need to know that. You're trading time for money, and sometimes you're trading your family's time for that money. You guys have a good one. Know your numbers.